I have 3 children I've had the privilege to raise for the last 23 years. So my children really have been raised by me with an interest in their potential. And I want to talk to you a little about how we become who we are and then how we can make some permanent impressions in our children all the way into their adult years. So as Zoe was saying, we know as a scientific fact now that the sperm and the egg gather information from both donors moments to hours before conception, and that the emotion that both parents are experiencing tend to cast the first genetic die. So if the parents are living in those survival emotions, those emotions of stress, that create anger and aggression and hatred and judgment and fear and anxiety and pain and suffering, hopelessness, powerlessness, those altered states of consciousness, I call them, but psychology calls them normal states of consciousness, that if we live in those hormones of stress, then that casts the first genetic imprint, because the child then has to be prepared for the same environmental conditions that both parents are embracing at that time. You understand? So as they experience their environment, and the end product of every experience in the environment is called an emotion, then the emotion tends to imprint into what's called the haploid cells, the sperm and the egg. And that's actually called genomic imprinting. So what is then, conceived in the flesh is born of the flesh. And what is conceived in the spirit is born of the spirit. So ancient traditions, like the Native Americans in the United States and certain cultures in the Mideast, understood this principle, and they separated both donors or both parents before matrimony, not because they wanted to increase their lust, but because those two had a real firm intention about what they wanted to contribute to the culture or the community or the tribe. And so they began to look at the emotions that limited them, the emotions that kept them lost in confusion or anger. And they fasted from their emotions. And they separated themselves from the tribe long enough that they began to embrace elevated emotions, the emotions of love and gratitude and loving kindness. And they said, I want to contribute the best to the tribe because I would love to have the chief, or the wise woman, or the medicine man, or somebody to be able to lead the tribe. And so when they consummated their love, they did it with an intention to propagate a species for evolution. How many people understand? Yes? So then, in the consummation of their love then, it wasn't 1 and 1 is 2, which is how survival emotions work. It was 2 is 1. And so it was a lot of giving, and that kind of embracing of love allowed the child to begin to get the first genetic impression as the organism began to develop in utero. And as now the child begins to develop in utero, we now know as a scientific fact that the mother's blood flow is in constant communication with the fetus. And as the mother is experiencing the environmental conditions once again, if she's experiencing the stress hormones, then that the stress hormones begin to shape and mold the physical structure of the baby. So we know as a scientific fact also that the children that are under stressful conditions, whether it's poverty or fear or aggression, that they're born with a smaller head circumference, smaller frontal lobe, larger adrenal glands, weakened immune system. Because once again, the emotions that are created from the mother, the thoughts and behaviors, begin to further imprint the gene because it's preparing the child for the same environmental conditions that the mother is embracing for better chances of survival. Does that make sense? Yeah. So then, once maturation is reached in utero, then the next thing, of course, is partition or birth. And there's been tons of research to show that it's either going to be elegant or forced. It's either going to be produced in an environment that allows the child to transition smoothly, or it's going to be abrupt and cold and insensitive. And I remember when my my two older children, I moved to a very rural community in the Pacific Northwest of the United States. And I started reading books on natural childbirth, and I wanted to do an underwater birth. And all I needed was a midwife there so that I could facilitate the birth of the child, catch the baby. And I can't tell you how many midwives I interviewed 22 years ago and talked to them about underwater birth, and they thought I was absolutely insane. And yet, two of my children were born underwater, and I can tell you that when they transitioned into that warm water, it was an amazing experience. And my daughter, who's 22 years old, came out with the veil still over her, and I held that umbilicus, and she floated, and I allowed her to be comfortable in the water. Then I turned her over and lifted her up out of the water, and she is a very cosmic kid to this day as a result of it. So transition then should be done in a state of grace, in a state of allowance, and it should be done with the environment supporting that transition. We also know that we have three types of stress: physical stress, trauma, injury, accidents. We have chemical stress like blood sugar levels, flus, bacteria, viruses, heavy metals, pesticides, pollutants, hormones. And we have emotional stress. And stress is when your body's knocked out of homeostasis, and stress is when your body's knocked out of balance. So it makes sense then that before birth, as the mother is experiencing her gestation, that it's not a bad idea to make sure that all three of those things are in check: physically, chemically, and emotionally. And we know as a fact scientifically that mothers that tend to stay in that range where they're experiencing the feeling of being nurtured and taken care of, that they're doing the proper nutrition. Of course, there's tons of research on that. They're getting the proper structural care. They're doing yoga. They're breathing. They're taking care of themselves, that they tend to give birth in a more elegant way. Now, after birth, there's this amazing dance that takes place between nature and nurture. And we know also, as the child is reared and the child is born, that they have certain genetic propensities because they inherit both the physical characteristics of both parents as well as the emotional propensities and tendencies. And isn't it ironic then that they're raised by the same parents with the same emotional propensities, and that reinforces them in their environment? How many people understand? Yeah. So, children's brainwave patterns tend to be very unique because for the first 6 years of their life, their brainwave patterns are so slow that they're functioning in their subconscious mind. And children actually learn through their subconscious mind because everything you tell them for the first 6 or 7 years of life, they accept as true because they have no analytical facilities to be able to process what you're telling them. As a matter of fact, all of their awareness is on their internal environment, and they notice changes in how they feel inside of them. And when they feel differently inside of them, it perks their brain up and they pay attention to whoever or whatever caused it. And that event in and of itself creates a memory. And the repetition of exposures over time begins to create what we call habits or behaviors. You got it? So then your children have a type of neurons that I've always been fascinated with, and they're called mirror neurons. Now, you know what mirror neurons are? They're empathy neurons. And empathy neurons means they're going to model what you do more than what you say. So you ever notice that when you're feeding your kid, you put the spoon in the porridge and then you go? You're doing that unconsciously because you want them to model your behavior. And when a lioness is training her cubs on how to hunt, she doesn't say, okay, you two go that way, and you go around that way, and I'm going to attack right here. She says, watch what I do. And because of that, mirror neurons then begin to install the neurological hardware, because as your children observe what you're doing, they're turning on the same circuits in their brain as if they were actually doing it. And that begins to prime the brain and begin to create what's called neural Darwinism, which means that you begin to prune away the circuits to begin to shape and mold behaviors. And that's the beginning stages of plasticity. How many people are still with me? Yeah. Yes? So then right around the ages of 6 and 12, brainwave patterns pick up, and they move into what's called alpha brainwave patterns. Now, alpha patterns tend to be, according to the research, where children believe in the imaginary world more than they believe in the outer world. In other words, the inner world is more real than the outer world. And you can tell your child to act like a rabbit or act like a princess at 9 in the morning, and it's 7 in the evening, and they're still acting like a rabbit, and they're still a princess. Yes? Because the inner world of imagination, because of brainwave patterns, is where the brain begins to interact in the cognitive way to begin to interface with the external world. And Rudolf Steiner's work, Steiner, who created the Waldorf schools, he was very interested in elongating the alpha time. And my children all of them went to Waldorf schools because I wanted them to stay in alpha for as long as they could. Now, my 2 sons, they pretty much left alpha right around 8 or 9 years old. My daughter stayed in alpha till I think she was 19, And because in alpha, you're able to begin to interface between the real world and the imaginary world. Now, right around this time as your brainwave patterns begin to pick up and the child is beginning to interpret the laws of the environment, he or she is interacting with the external world and they're beginning to skin their knee or put their finger in the light socket and they notice pain inside of them and it wakes them up and they look to see through their senses what caused that experience, and the senses begin to write the script neurologically in their brain. And so after a series of exposures, the child cries out, it's uncomfortable and gets fed and learns to associate crying out with being fed. And so every time she or he is hungry, she cries out and gets fed. And we begin to then develop these positive and negative identifications and associations that give rise to habits and behaviors. But right around this age of around 10 or so, 7 to 10, the analytical mind begins to form. And as the analytical mind begins to form in the child, they begin to interpret the laws of the environment. And all of a sudden, their father isn't as cool as they thought he was. They're having questions about Santa Claus. And I was saying this this weekend at the event that we did. My 23-year-old is a engineer. He's getting his master's in engineering. He's very mathematical. And he approached me at around 9 years old, and he said, listen, I got to talk to you. He said, I've been doing the math, and I know there's 6.2 billion people on the planet. This is when he was, 9 years old. And I know not all of them are into, Jesus and Santa Claus. I know that. And I know that, I'm estimating that there's about 1 billion kids on the planet. And I'm wondering really if Santa can get to all the houses, because I figured out the time and there's no way he can do it. So I said, yeah, but did you think about that certain families have more than one child? So he said, what's the average, children in a household? I said, are you talking about in the United States or in the world? He said, in the world. I said, well, probably about 3. It's all right. So then he disappeared in his room, came back out about 30 minutes later, and he said, the math isn't, there's no way that Santa can go to all these homes and deliver all these gifts. I'm figuring 10 minutes, 5 minutes at each home, and he just went through this whole, litany of how it was impossible. So then I said, yeah, but did you think about that the earth rotates? He said, what do you mean? I said, well, I took a flashlight, and then I took a ball, and I said, you see, the flashlight's the sun, and the ball is like the earth, and if you rotate the earth, the backside of that is called night, because night is just shade. And I said, so if Santa's going in the direction of the spinning of the earth, he's going to have more time. And he gave me this 1-minute stare. And then he said, how fast does the earth rotate? I said, 26,000 miles an hour. He said, there is no Santa Claus, Dad. And I said, you're right, there's no Santa Claus, but don't tell your brother or sister. So they begin to interpret the laws of the environment because their analytical mind begins to form. The critical facilities begin to develop. And the critical mind, or the analytical mind, begins to separate the conscious mind from the subconscious mind. Now, the subconscious mind is made up of all those positive and negative identifications and associations that give rise to habits and behaviors. And that's 95% of who we are by the time we're adults. Now, the conscious mind is 5% of the total mind, and it's made up of things like logic and reasoning, which gives rise to our will and our creative abilities. So when that analytical mind begins to close off and it separates the conscious mind from the subconscious mind, there's been enough research in scientific journals to say, well, after the age of 7 or 10, pretty much the ability for your child to learn languages or develop what we call plastic changes tends to slow down because now they have to get beyond that particular analytical mind. Now, as we begin to grow up and we begin to interact with the environment and we begin to respond to tough conditions in our life, the brainwave patterns move into what's called beta brainwave patterns. And beta brainwave patterns are what you're listening to me right now with. Beta is when the outer world is more real than the inner world. And in beta, you're more concerned with being able to pay attention with what's going on in your external environment. And the job of the brain is to create coherence between the outer world and the inner world. And as you begin to create meaning between the outer world and the inner world, the brain further shapes and develops as a result of that interaction. And we could say then that the personality really is the result of how you think, how you act, and how you feel. And so I always tell my children that your personality creates your personal reality. And if you want to change something in your life, then on a fundamental level, you have to look at the thoughts you're thinking to see if they're serving you, notice the behaviors that you're demonstrating and see if those are loving to yourself, and begin to look at the emotions that you've memorized that become part of your identity. And children begin to understand this very naturally because the law with children that I've believed from the time my children were very young is that if you give them the facts, they will interpret the laws. So because of mirror neurons, your children are paying attention to more of what you do than what you say. So you can't say to your kids, clean your room, and have a messy room. You understand? Because they're going to look at your room subconsciously, automatically. And I was doing an interview for this book. Someone was interviewing me for this book, and they said, can you tell me about the terrible twos? I said, it's really simple. What do you do the first year of your child's life? Oh, look how cute he is. Look how cute she is. Look. Oh, and then all of a sudden, at 1 year old, what happens? They stand up, right? And then they stand up, and their brain is so neuroplastic, and they go, wow, look at this vase. I wonder how it's made. Oh, it holds water. And then the child begins to interact with the environment out of curiosity, pulling things, breaking things, and then what do? No! No! And you do that for a whole year, and then you say at 2 years old, put your shoes on, and what's the child say? No! It's mirror neurons. It's only mirroring behavior. So we know then that children pay attention because of those mirror neurons more based on what they observe than what they're told. Now, I also believe that parenting is the result of two things. It's the result of love or logistics. That's it. That it's either a problem with love or a problem with logistics. And if you've raised kids, you'll begin to realize that you have to set boundaries that are comfortable and that they have to honor those boundaries and that you have to nurture and culture and help them develop and begin to understand the distinction between when they're doing something that's going to cause growth for them or something that's going to begin to ultimately cause displeasure or harm for them. And logistics, of course, is what? Did you pack your ballet shoes? Did you bring the baseball glove? What happened? You didn't tie your shoes. You got to go back and get your backpack. Where's your homework? It's all logistics. And so I've decided, after 23 years of raising kids, that it has everything to do with love and logistics. Now, I also believe that with children, that they learn primarily by allegory. And I use this principle with my children because I understood their brainwave patterns when they were young. And I found it very important when they were reacting to something in their life, or they were upset about something, or they were uncomfortable about something, as long as they weren't injured in some way and they were having some type of upset, my job with them was to shorten their emotional reaction. Because as I say in my lectures that I teach to adults, when you have a reaction to something in your life, there's a refractory period of chemicals that are created from that emotional reaction. And if you don't know how to control that emotional reaction, and you let that refractory period continue for hours or days, that turns into a mood. So your child has a mood because something happens that alters them emotionally. And then if they learn that that refractory period can continue for weeks or months, that develops into a temperament. And if you keep that refractory period going for years on end, that's called a personality trait. So they develop their personality trait based on their emotional reactions to conditions in their life. Now, aside from trauma and abuse and those really, really rough conditions that certain children are exposed to, our job as parents is to teach them that ability to become so neuroplastic that they can lay down the emotion and change gears. How many people understand? And you do them a great service if you give them the ability to be able to let go of the emotion. Now, as a result of that, I have another law which says never, ever, ever try to reason with your kid when they're emotional. Do you want to be reasoned with when you're emotional? Or do you want to be left alone? So you would rather be left alone until the chemicals wear off. And by the way, I tell my children, and this is a fact also scientifically, that those stress hormones, the chemicals that are created for an emotional reaction, 30 different chemicals, they last 90 seconds to 2 minutes. That's it. Anything after that, I tell my children, you're faking it.
So how do you teach them to let go of that?
So what I did with my children was I always created things for them to do to break their pattern. We had trampolines. I live out in nature where we have horses, we have a garden, and so you break the pattern by causing them to shift their attention to something else. And wouldn't you agree as an adult that wouldn't it be nice for you to have the ability to shift your attention from something that's picking at you emotionally? Yes? So we teach that as a skill or as a way to develop certain behaviors, coping mechanisms, and my children to this day, all three of them, let go of things pretty naturally. Well, all right. Now, when my children were going through emotional reactions, one of the things that I found really valuable for them was that when they were reacting to something, I wanted them to understand that there was always something or someone observing them. And that when you begin to see a child move out of balance, and as long as they're not physically hurt in any way, if you were to just stop what you were doing and turn around and look at them and just observe them, they will notice that you're observing them, and they will become conscious of what they're doing. Would you agree? Mm-hmm. Now, I never, ever interacted with them when they were having that emotional reaction. Of course, as long as they weren't injured in any way, I allowed them to run the course of that emotion. But the biggest point that I want to make is that I would wait till the evening. And I would climb in bed with them, and then I would talk about myself. I would say, look, I'm working on this thing, whatever it is, whether it was anger or whatever the emotion was. And I'd start really opening up to my children as if I was talking to an analyst. That honest. And what do you think my children would do all the time? They would say, God, I got so mad at Paris today. And then I'd say, I know, I saw you. And then the only important thing that I wanted them to understand is that when they reacted, they'd start telling me the story, and I'd say, you know what? I really don't care. What I care about is if it happened again, how would you do it differently? And then we'd lay in bed. Now listen, there's 2 times the door to the subconscious mind opens up. When you wake up in the morning, your brain chemistry changes, and you go from delta to theta to alpha to beta, to conscious awareness. Melatonin turns into serotonin, and those neurotransmitters get you up and going. When you go to bed at night, you go from what? Beta to alpha to theta to delta. So you're going down, and the door is already open. Exactly. So I would wait for my children to get in bed with them. I'd tell them about myself. We talk about their day. And then I'd say, listen, just tell me if the same thing happened tomorrow. I just want to know how you would do it differently. And they'd say, oh, well, I do this and I do that. And I'd say, really? If you did that, it would lead to this. Are you aware that that's what would happen? They say, oh, I didn't think about that. And so I would help them create a new strategy or a new plan to cope with the same experience. And because the research in neuroscience shows that you can actually install the neurological hardware ahead of the actual experience by mentally rehearsing what you're going to do, your brain begins to change to look like the event has happened. You understand? Mm-hmm. So there's enough research to show that you can prime the brain and wake the circuits up, and the brain doesn't know the difference between the actual experience in external reality and what you rehearse in your internal reality. So I would ask them, after we got the model complete and really sound, I would ask them to repeat the model to me over and over again until they got it exactly the way they thought they could demonstrate it. And in fact, they were priming their brain and conditioning their body emotionally to begin to become prepared for that experience when it happened. So then, before they went to sleep, I would tell them a story. And I would say, there are these kids, they lived in this magical land, and there were castles and dragons and unicorns and, whatever else. And take them through this whole experience by allegory. And because of children's brainwave patterns in alpha, they have no problems imagining the allegory. And what I was doing is, by association, I was asking them to put themselves into the story. And I would describe the children to look just like them, and I'd tell them all these conditions that they had to overcome and all the magic that was in their life. And then there would be the poignant moment where they had to make a different decision. And I would almost repeat exactly what I told them when we were talking about creating the model. And at the end of the story, they would turn and look at me. I can't tell you how many times they did this. And they say, was that me? And I'd say, I don't know, was it? And they'd go. And then they'd fall asleep. Now, that is a nice thought for them to end with. And then I would say to them, and I still do this, and they're all, older kids now. And when they have, issues in their life, and I'd say, I'd help them create the model, and for weeks on end, I'd say, so tell me what would happen. What would you do if it happened? And I would ask them, well, so what would happen? What would you do if it happened? And I would, over and over again. Finally, my kids would say, my God, I can't wait for this experience to happen, so you'd leave me alone. Now I know they're ready. How many people understand? So we can begin to install the neurological hardware ahead of the actual experience so that they have circuits in place to use when that situation comes up. And that's called evolution, because new thoughts lead to new choices lead to new behaviors, and new behaviors lead to new experiences, and new experiences lead to new emotions, and new emotions are new information from the environment that begins to alter their genes epigenetically. And then those emotions drive their thoughts, and you begin to develop self-esteem and self-confidence and efficacy and everything that goes along with it. Now, I wrote an article for a magazine a little ways back on computers and computer gaming. And the article was called Kidnapped by Technology. Now, I think that there has to be a delicate and very, very intimate balance between your environment in nature and your interaction with technology.